Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it seems the airlines are making some adjustments to the ongoing tensions with, the rest of the world. We also have a horrible, tragic accident that happened on a private island with Holland, America at Half Moon Cay. It also has caused ship delays going forward for the ship who is taking on new passengers after that horrible accident. We have some good news from Santorini. They finally, after all those earthquakes, have finally received their very first cruise ship of the season, which bodes well for people going forward, that there's possibly, things will return back to normal and tourism can restart in Santorini. Today's video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. Well, besides protecting your information, besides hiding your IP address from scammers and people trying to steal your information, that's a real big benefit of a VPN, right? You're less chances of ever having your accounts hacked, your credit card hacked, or anything like that. But there's a side benefit besides that. Did you know, like for instance, I live in Canada. Well, I'm about to travel to the Caribbean. Then I'm about to travel to Europe. And when I'm logging in to say watch a television show like on Netflix or anything, one of my favorite shows I want to watch, well, sometimes I can't watch it because different countries have different plans and not all the same content is available. So what do? I log into my Private Internet Access VPN and bam, suddenly I'm back home in Canada according to everything out there, and I can now watch the shows that I've been trying to watch. That's a great side benefit. Now, why did I choose Private Internet Access? Well, the main reason is I can do unlimited devices on the same plan. Not 1, not 5, not 10, unlimited devices. And then they also have that no log policy, which means they're not storing my information. And by the way, that's been proven in court by a third-party audit. So if you'd like to check out Private Internet Access, why not check out my link down below? And you can get up to 83% off plus 4 months free. Thanks again to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. So while accidents are not unheard of on private islands, unfortunately this one was more severe than would normally have to report on, where a woman, a Czechoslovakian British citizen, was apparently on a jet ski tour when she lost control of the jet ski, or whoever was driving lost control of the jet ski. It's unclear if she was driving alone or if somebody was with her, and crashed into a nearby rock. And unfortunately, rescue attempts and first aid responders were unable to revive her, and she passed away. No other details have come across. There is an investigation. The actual police force has to come from about 30 miles away from a completely separate island, but the rescue team and first responders are present on the island, but the police force themselves have to come over after the fact sort of thing and launch an investigation. The cruise line is not releasing any details on the person's name under respect for the friends and family who may still be on board the cruise ship. Now, this is causing some delays for the cruise ship returning to port. It was first reported that it's going to be delayed about 2 hours. Now the reports are coming in over 4 to 6 hours. So if you're on the new Amsterdam boarding soon, remember you're going to be much later than planned. I think they're not boarding until 4:30 in the afternoon now, but you can understand they have to go with the police and help them with their investigation and deal with grieving family at the same time. Condolences again to the family and friends of those of the passenger on board. Next, it seems like a lot of airlines are suddenly changing a lot of the flights and either reducing the size of the planes or reducing the amount of times they fly to certain cities. And it's pretty much most of the airlines. United is doing, Flair is doing it, Air Canada, British Airlines, Air France. Apparently, there are a lot of cutbacks coming that they're predicting for travel to and from the United States from Europe and Canada and Mexico, and they are now cutting back a lot of the flights in preparation for this, especially in the summer months when it's not quite so cold here in Canada and people may elect to go someplace else because of what's happening. Not going to get into the reasons why, but the airlines, you may have a harder time getting flights going forward. And it's funny because my nephew mentioned it because he's planning a trip and he goes, oh, that could be good news. Maybe flights will go down in price because not as many people are traveling. And I said, actually, it'll probably be the opposite. Flights will probably go up because there's going to be less availability of those flights. You see how things work. So, yep, airlines are adjusting it. Both Canadian Airlines, European Airlines, and United States Airlines are all making these adjustments as the travel to leisure destinations in the United States, they're cutting back. Business like New York and Washington, they seem to be staying there, but as far as the leisure destinations, seems to be cutting back. Next, the NCL Aqua is currently sailing with some passengers on what they're calling pre-cruise, like showcase cruises. It is set in 4 days to set sail for a transatlantic out of Southampton and arrive to the United States, at which time it will do its celebration. They're going to launch the ship when it reaches the United States. Haven't heard a lot about the Aqua from people on board yet. I'm curious to see how people react. It is the first Prima Plus class ship, and it has that common kind of combination of the roller coaster and water slide. You know, it's kind of like a merging of the two. It's the first one available at sea. So we'll see what the shows are like, and they will be sailing in the United States very, very soon. Speaking of people who are finally very happy, Santorini is very happy because they are starting to accept tourists back in the country, in that particular area of Greece, after all those seismic activity, earthquakes, tremors, etc. Remember, they had over 20,000 tremors in that within a month. That's like, oh my God, like what are you're just living on one of those vibrating beds from the 70s. They're just going like this. But the good news is it seems to have calmed down, and they've now accepted their very first cruise ship of the year who went aboard, which is good because I'm supposed to be there in about 40 days or so, and I'm hoping Santorini is one of our stops, and it's supposed to be on, it is on the itinerary, but you know, things were changing. Cruise lines were canceling and going, but right now it's still on my itinerary, so fingers crossed that it still remains that way, and good for Santorini that they can finally get their tourism back up and running. It's a big part of their economy in that town as well. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you think the airlines are going to cut back very much? Do you think it's really going to have an effect? Do you think prices are going to go up for those trying to travel to their cruise destination? Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.